E-Classroom, sponsored by রাষ্ট্রীয় মাধ্যমিক শিক্ষা অভিযান, ত্রিপুরা রাজ্য মিশন।
মাধ্যমিক স্তরের শিক্ষার গুণগত মানকে সুনিশ্চিত করার লক্ষ্যে রাষ্ট্রীয় মাধ্যমিক শিক্ষা অভিযান, ত্রিপুরা রাজ্য মিশন কর্মরত মাধ্যমিক স্তরের শিক্ষক ও বিদ্যালয় প্রধানদের প্রশিক্ষণ, বিজ্ঞান শিক্ষণ সামগ্রী প্রদান, ছাত্রীদের আত্মরক্ষামূলক প্রশিক্ষণ, মেধায় পিছিয়ে পড়া ছাত্রছাত্রীদের বিশেষ শিক্ষাদান, প্রতিবন্ধীদের জন্য অনুদান, রাজ্যে কলা উৎসব আয়োজন সহ অন্যান্য কর্মসূচি রূপায়ণ করছে।
জানেন কি, বিদ্যালয় ছুট সারা দেশের একটি জ্বলন্ত সমস্যা। এই সমস্যা সমাধানে রাষ্ট্রীয় মাধ্যমিক শিক্ষা অভিযানের উদ্যোগে আগামী 1 জানুয়ারি থেকে সপ্তাহব্যাপী বিদ্যালয় ফিরে চলো কর্মসূচি গ্রহণ করা হয়েছে। 14 থেকে 16 বছর বয়সী সমস্ত ছেলে মেয়েদের মাধ্যমিক শিক্ষা সম্পূর্ণ করার জন্য আপনারা সবাই এগিয়ে আসুন।
মাঝপথে যারা লেখাপড়া ছেড়ে দিয়েছো বন্ধুরা, তোমরা বিদ্যালয়ে আবার ফিরে এসো।
রাষ্ট্রীয় মাধ্যমিক শিক্ষা অভিযান।
Hello students.
Hello ma'am.
Sit down.
Thank you.
How are you all?
Fine ma'am.
Okay. So my students, today we are going to discuss a poem. Okay. So before going to the poem, let me ask you something. So if someday somewhere someone asks you to choose any kind of non-living thing as your leader, what will you do? You will answer, okay?
How this could be possible, ma'am? And non-living things cannot govern a country, so we cannot select it as our leader.
Okay, very good. Sit down. Thank you so much for this sensible answer. So, today we are going to discuss a poem, okay, where you can find so many characters, but they are not at all sensible. Whether it is in monarchy or it is in democracy, a non-living thing cannot be chosen as our leader. Okay. So, our today's topic is the tale of Melon City. Tale of Melon City, written by Bikram Seth. Okay. So, before going to the poem, let's know something about our poet. So here you can see that this is the picture of our poet. So now let's discuss about him. So our poet Bikram Seth, actually he is an Indian writer. He wrote so many works like Suitable Boy, Mappings, The Golden Gate, and Equal Music, etc. And he got several prestigious awards like Padma Shri, Sahitya Academy Award, the Cross Book Literary Award, and so many. So you people can write it down in your page and paper. Okay. Okay, fine. So now let's go to the next slide. So this poem, The Tale of Melon City, is taken from the Mappings, okay, which was published in 1981 and is included in the collected poems by Bikram Seth. It is a satire. Okay. So yes?
What is satire?
Okay. You sit down. Thank you for this question. Satire. Satire means ridiculing to attack. You people please write it. Okay. Satire is a rhetorical device which is used by the writer to expose or to criticize any kind of foolishness, any kind of hypocrisy or corruption of an individual, an idea, an institution, or the government itself. And satire means it has a humorous thing with a hidden message. Okay, fine. Is that clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Very clear? Yes. Okay. Now you can see here that the king in the poem is very much just and placid. So let's see, does he carry the notion of justice a bit too far or not? Okay. So my students, before going to the poem directly, let's have an outline, the overview of the poem. So you can see that the Tale of Malin City is a satire which highlights the idiocy of the king, the foolish ministers and the people of his kingdom who blindly follow him to a regrettable extreme. The king orders his ministers to build an arch over the main stream to enhance the beauty of the city. But his crown is knocked off under the arch as the arch is constructed too low. So out of rage, the king orders that the chief of builders of the arch should be hanged. Up to that is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's proceed. So this sets the blame game in motion, one after the another. All involved in the construction are blamed and their execution is ordered. Finally, the king is hanged because the nation wants a hanging, as the only person tall enough for the noose is the king. Adding to this stupidity, a Malin is crowned with proper ceremony. Okay, so after going through this overview, you people are having a small idea that this story tells about a king who wished for an ark. Eventually, the king was hanged and a Malin becomes the king of the city. But how is this possible, isn't it? So to know that, we have to go through the poem. So shall we proceed? Yes. Okay. So my students, you can see that first of all I have written that this poem is written after Idris Shah. You write his name, Idris Shah. So who was Idris Shah? Idris Shah was a writer who used to carry the Sufi tradition in his vein as well as in his writings. The Caravan of Dreams was a poem, it was a book written by Idris Shah, where he told the story of the Malin city. When our poet Bikram Seth read this story, he got very much inspired. So what he did, he took some outline from the book and wrote a beautiful poem, The Tale of Malin City, which is a satire. So this poem has 52 couplets. 52 couplets, okay. So one couplet is consisted of 2 lines. So here you can see that I have colored 2 lines in white color, another 2 lines in yellow color, okay. It will help you to understand. Fine. So let me read this. With that, I will explain.
Okay.
Okay. So you can see, in the city of which I sing, there was a just and placid king. The king proclaimed an arch should be constructed that triumphantly would span the major thoroughfare to edify spectators there. So, thus this story, this poem tells us about a city where there was a king who is very much just and placid. The word just stands for justice and placid stands for calmness. Okay. So the king is very much just and placid. মানে আমাদের রাজা খুবই ন্যায়পরায়ণ এবং শান্তিপ্রিয়। তো উনি একদিন করলেন কি যে উনি বললেন যে একটা আর্চ বানানো হোক to edify his spectators. Up to this is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's see what happens. So the workmen went and built the thing. They did so since he was the king. The king rode down the thoroughfare to edify spectators there. Under the arch, he lost his crown. The arch was built too low. A frown appeared upon his placid face. The king said, this is a disgrace. So what happened? According to the order of the king, all the workmen, all the engineers assembled and they started to build the arch. After the completion of the arch, the king wants to inaugurate the arch. But you know what happened? The arch was built too much low. That is why the crown of the king knocked off the arch. So this thing made the king so much embarrassed. He got so insulted, no? So suddenly he got very angry. The placid king becomes so angry. And out of anger, he loudly screams that this is a disgraceful thing. So now let's see, out of anger, what he does. The chief of builders will be hanged. The rope and gallows were arranged. The chief of builders was led out. He passed the king. He gave a shout. "Oh king, it was the workman's fault." "Oh," said the king, and called a halt to the proceedings, being just and placid now, he said, "I must." So out of rage, out of anger, the king says that all the chief of builders should be hanged. Okay, so you can see that the king, first of all, he started to blame the chief of builders. Okay, so when the chief of builders were called for hanging, they started to plead the king for mercy. Now let's see what he says. He is saying to the king that, "Oh king, it is not my fault. Actually, it is the fault of the workmen." Okay, so now you can see that a blame game has been started here. So the chief of builders are blaming the workmen. Isn't it so? Yes. Okay. So when the workmen, when the architect was saying that the workmen are actually, they are guilty. So the king called the halt to the proceeding of hanging. Okay. Actually, our king is very much just. He always stands for justice. That's why he never wants any innocent to be punished. That's why he says, being just and placid now, he said, "I must." Have all the workmen hanged instead. The workmen looked surprised and said, "Oh king, you do not realize the bricks were made of the wrong size. Summon the masons," said the king. The masons stood there quivering. It was the architect. They said the architect was summoned. So again you can see that when the king orders the hanging of the workmen, he pardoned the chief of builder and he orders the hanging of the workmen. But when the workmen was called, they started to blame the masons. So the blame game now has come to masons. Okay. They are saying that the masons actually delivered bricks of wrong size. Bricks mane eat. Eat to tumra cheno. ठीक है? So bricks of wrong size. So that's why they are going to be hanged. But they are saying that no, it is not our fault. It is the fault of the architect. Architect means the designer, the main engineer of the arch. So now the masons are blaming whom? The architect. Am I clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
পুষ্টিকর খাদ্য এবং শিক্ষা আমাদের নিতান্ত প্রয়োজনীয় জিনিস।
আপনি কি জানেন বর্তমানে ত্রিপুরায় বিদ্যালয় শিক্ষা দপ্তরের অধীনে মধ্যাহ্ন আহার প্রকল্পের উদ্যোগে সবকটি বিদ্যালয়ে সবজি বাগান গড়ে তোলা হচ্ছে।
ছাত্রছাত্রীদের পুষ্টিকর খাদ্য প্রদান করার লক্ষ্যে সেই বাগানে উৎপাদিত সার এবং কীটনাশকবিহীন সবজি প্রথম থেকে অষ্টম শ্রেণীর শিক্ষার্থীদের মিড ডে মিলে ব্যবহার করা হয়।
চলুন শিক্ষার্থীদের স্বাস্থ্যকর এবং নির্ভেজাল খাদ্য প্রদান ও সুস্থ সমাজ গড়ার লক্ষ্যে আমরা সবাই এগিয়ে আসি এবং প্রত্যেকটি বিদ্যালয়ে সবজি বাগান গড়ে তুলতে বিদ্যালয় কর্তৃপক্ষকে সাহায্য করি।
So they are saying that the architect is the main faulty man. Okay, that's why the architect was summoned. Again the king has pardoned the masons. Okay, now let's see the architect what he does. So, well, architect, said his majesty, I do ordain that you shall be hanged, said the architect, "Oh king, you have forgotten one small thing. You made certain amendments to the plan when I showed them to you." The king heard this. The king saw red. In fact, he nearly lost his head. But being just and placid king, he said, "This is a tricky thing." So now you can see that when the architect was called for hanging, so suddenly the architect becomes so clever. Very cunningly, he started to blame the king himself. So now you can see that the blame has come to the king, his majesty. Okay. Saying that, "Oh king, actually it is your fault, because when I made the design, I showed them to you. But what you did? You made some amendments." Amendment means changes. Okay. So because of these changes, this disaster happened. So hearing that, the king became so nervous. It means what? That now it is the blame, it is the guilt of the king. So now he is going to be hanged. That's why the king is saying that this is the tricky thing. He is saying that no, this thing is becoming so confusing, so tricky. Now let's see what he does. "I need some counsel. Bring to me the wisest man in this country." The wisest man was found and brought, nay, carried to the royal court. He could not walk and could not see, so old and therefore wise was he. But in a quavering voice he said, "The culprit must be punished." Okay. Now what the king is doing, you can see, he is saying that as the matter is going very confusing, very tricky, so I need some counsel, means he needs some advice. So he called for the wisest man. He sent his messengers, but his messengers are as full as the king. What they did? They brought an old man, so old man who is in his deathbed, who can't even see properly, can't even walk properly. But just because he is old, he is considered as the wisest man. So have you ever heard this kind of foolishness? No. Will you do that kind of thing? No. Just considering someone's age, will you consider anyone as the wisest man? No. Before considering anyone as the wisest man, we will definitely judge his eligibility, his quality, his decision-making power. Isn't it so? But the king is so fickle-minded that he is changing his opinion, his decisions. So that's why when the old man was called for advice, so old man, he heard all the thing, and in a very trembling, quivering, the word quivering means trembling. He's so old, no, that's why he can't even talk properly. That's why in a very quivering voice, মানে কাপা কাপা গলায় ও বলছিল যে দোষীদের তো শাস্তি হওয়া দরকার, the culprit must be punished. Truly the ark it was that banged the crown off, and it must be hanged. To the scaffold the arch was led, when suddenly a councillor said, "How can we hang so shamefully? What touch your head, your majesty?" "True," mused the king. By now the crowd, restless, was muttering aloud. Okay. So here again the old man continues to say that the culprit must be punished. And adding to the stupidity more, he says that actually the arch itself should be hanged, because the arch has hit the crown of the king. So it is the main culprit. বুঝতে পারছো কি বলেছে যে আর্ক যেটা, এটাকে অ্যাকচুয়ালি শাস্তি দেওয়া দরকার, কারণ এটা আমাদের রাজাদের মাথার মুকুটের মধ্যে আঘাত করেছে। বোকামির কি পর্যন্ত বোকামি হচ্ছে খালি এটা দেখো। So according to the advice of that wisest man, what all the minister did, they dragged, টেনে আনলো the arch on the scaffold. Scaffold means it's a platform, একটা উডেন প্ল্যাটফর্ম যেটার উপরে দাঁড়িয়ে হ্যাঙ্গিংটাকে করানো হয়, সম্পন্ন করা হয়। এটা তো তোমরা সিনেমাতে টিভিতে আমরা দেখেছি, তাই না? So to the scaffold the arch was led, when suddenly a councillor said, কি হয়েছে ওইটাকে যখন টেনে আনা হলো তখন suddenly একজন কাউন্সিলর from the royal court said that how can we hang this arch so shamefully, because the earth touches the head of our king, the royal crown. It becomes so pure. We cannot hang it so shamefully. Okay. So, eta shonar shathe shathe the Raja, the king muses. Muses means thinks. He thinks that, oh, it is true. The ministers are saying the true thing. But at the same time, the king can read the mind of the public. The public who has gathered here to see the hanging. He can read the mind that they become so restless to see the hanging. Up to that is clear?
Yes.
Okay. The king perceived their mood and trembled and said to all who were assembled, let us postpone consideration of our final points like guilt. The nation wants a hanging. Hanged must be someone, and that immediately. Okay. So here you can see that the king can read the mind of the people, that they become so much restless for the hanging. So at the same time the king got very nervous that what to do, what not to do. That's why very cleverly he takes a decision. He is telling that to them that let's postpone the consideration that who is guilty, who is not guilty. Let's drop the idea of finding the culprit. Let's concentrate on hanging. As my nation is very much for justice, that's why let's concentrate on hanging. Someone has to be hanged, and that is immediately. So for the hanging, what the king does, let's see. The noose was set up somewhat high. Each man was measured by and by. But only one man was so tall, he fitted one man, that was all. He was the king. His majesty was therefore hanged by royal decree. Thank goodness we found someone, said the ministers, for if instead we had not, the unruly town might well have turned against the crown. Okay, so it is the meaning of that stanza is, as the king has decided to concentrate on the hanging, that's why all the ministers, what they did, they set up the noose in a high position. Noose means you can see in the picture, phashir je phanda ta etake set kora holo. And all the people from the crowd, the ministers, the councillors, along with the king, they are coming on the scaffold to measure the height of the noose. And here lies a condition. The condition is that one who fits into the noose the most, that person will be hanged. Okay. So you can see that absolute absent-mindedness, foolishness is prevailing all around. Okay. So everybody was coming and trying. No one was getting fitted properly. One man got. They found one man who fits into the noose the most, and he was the king. So according to the royal order, you can see the word royal decree. Royal decree means the royal order, the custom of the kingdom. Okay. So according to the royal order, the king was hanged. After the hanging of the king, all the ministers, he was shy of relief that thank God we found someone to hang. Justice has been done. If it is not been possible, then the unruly town means the furious people, those who are so much for justice, they want hanging, they might go against the crown. Okay. So let's proceed. Long live the king, the minister said. Long live the king is dead. So my students, you can see that I have underlined these two lines to mark it that it is the one of the ironical part of this poem. When a crowd says, long live the king, you know, when a crowd says, when a king comes from a victory or a king does a very good thing for the welfare of his people, of his country, that time the crowd in a joy, in love, in reverence, they say, long live the king, long live the king. It means, Raja jug jug beche thakuk. But yes, but here lies the irony is that the king is already dead. But after his death, they are saying, long live the king. Isn't it funny?
Yes.
Okay. So, now let's consider on the last two lines here. They pondered the dilemma then, being practical minded men. The dilemma word means any kind of problem. Okay. So they started to think about it. sent out the heralds to proclaim in his former majesty's name, the next to pass the city gate will choose the ruler of our state. As is our custom, this will be enforced with due ceremony. A man passed by the city gate, an idiot. The guards cried, "Wait, who is to be the king? Decide, Emelyan." The idiot replied. So, after that, they tried to found the king. That's why he sent his heralds, his ministers. That is why they went to see the city gate, to see the next man who will be coming from the from the city gate. He will decide who will be the king. So a man came. Basically, he is an idiot. And when the guards asked him that you decide, he replied, "A melon." So the melon will be the king. This was his standard answer to all questions. He likes melons, you are now our king, the minister said, crowning a melon. Then they carried the melon to the crown and reverently set it down. Actually, the idiot didn't understand the question, and to every answer he replies melon. So that's why they considered the melon as their king and they crowned it. Okay, now let's go to the last part. This happened years and years ago, when now you ask the people, so your king appears to be a melon. How did this happen? They say, well, on account of customary choice, if his majesty rejoice in being a melon, that's okay with us. For who are we to say what he should be, as long as he leaves us in peace and liberty? The principles of laissez-faire seem to be well established there. So they are saying that they are very happy with this king. So here you can see we have come to the conclusion of the poem. So the poet is saying, if you go to the city now and if you ask them that why you have chosen a king as your melon as your king, at that time they will definitely answer you that actually we did this because of the customary choice of our country. We are living very happily in peace and having full liberty because of our king. The principles of laissez-faire is well established here. Okay, laissez-faire means running a business without any kind of external interference. Okay, so this is how the poem ends and leaves us in a state of thinking. So now let's see that what the message they give. So before that, you can see it's a funny picture, all the happy faces of the man and woman, and they are very happy to have a king who is nothing but a melon. So now let's see what is the message. In this poem, the poet criticizes a just and placid ruler in a funny and satirical way. The true purpose of a satire is to induce positive changes in people in the administrative sectors. He wants to convey the message that one should always take decisions after careful thought and keeping in mind the welfare of others. Absent-minded decisions lead to lawlessness and chaos in the life of individual and society. So you have understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's concentrate on the word meanings. You can write it. So these word meanings are little tough. You can write it down. Okay. So now we are just going to conclude my class. So these are some basic questions. You can again write it down. As it is a huge poem, so you people will be getting so many questions. But these are some basic questions you will prepare for your next classes. Okay. So my students, is that clear?
Yes.
Very clear?
Yes.
So can you prepare this for your exam?
Yes.
Okay. So shall we conclude the class here?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
ড্রপ আউটের ঘুচিয়ে ক্ষত, স্কুলে পড়ুয়ার বাড়ছে ভিড়, সর্বশিক্ষা মিড ডে মিলে স্কুল সকলের আশার নীড়।
রাজ্যের 6 থেকে 14 বছরের সব শিশুদের বিদ্যালয়ের আঙিনায় এনে তাদের বুনিয়াদী শিক্ষা সুনিশ্চিত করতে সর্বশিক্ষা অভিযান বদ্ধপরিকর। তাদের শিক্ষার সুবিধার জন্য রয়েছে বিনামূল্যে পাঠ্য বই, বিদ্যালয়ের পোশাক, উন্নতমানের পড়াশোনা, স্বাস্থ্যসম্মত শৌচাগার, বিশুদ্ধ পানীয় জল, পুষ্টিকর মধ্যাহ্ন আহার, খেলাধুলার ব্যবস্থা এবং আরও অনেক কিছু।
হ্যাঁ, তাই দেরি না করে আজই আপনার এলাকার সব শিশুদের নিকটবর্তী সরকারি বিদ্যালয়ে ভর্তি হতে উৎসাহিত করুন।
E-Classroom was sponsored by রাষ্ট্রীয় মাধ্যমিক শিক্ষা অভিযান, ত্রিপুরা রাজ্য মিশন।